So I'm 7 years old, and I find out I've got to wear glasses. I didn't know I was going to have to wear glasses the rest of my life. And fast forward about 30 years, and I had started a technology company here in Santa Barbara, and we would go to this trade show every year, and I would have a new pair of outlandish glasses to wear every year. And I remember in one of the newsletters, they said, the only reason you want to come to this meeting is to see what kind of glasses Mark's going to wear. And I thought, in preparing for today, what about all those people who can't solve the problem by wearing a pair of glasses? Right? That's why we're here today. My name is Mark Sylvester. I am the producer of TEDx Santa Barbara and the host of a show called 805 Conversations, where we talk to fascinating people you want to know better. Today, this is someone you'll want to know better. Let's start off on the beautiful day, but in this great room. I'd like to introduce the chairman of C, Scott Grove.
First of all, Santa Barbara, I'd like to thank you so much for coming on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. And we do have to say that, you know, you've been supporting C International for 43 years now. And we really appreciate that support that you have given us throughout these so many decades. My story with Dr. Helena Ndume started in 2010. As a member of C International, I asked the staff, where's the biggest and baddest place I can go in the world and do some good? And they immediately said, go to Namibia. So I had to think for a moment, because Namibia is not quite on my first places to know where to go. But there I was. A couple days later, I'm off on a plane, and I arrive in the middle of the Namibian desert, and was greeted by Dr. Helena. And within about 5 minutes, I knew who was in charge there. Even though she is a very petite woman, she has much fire in her heart. So at that particular expedition, there was over 500 patients being screened. There were 500 people that were bringing these people in because, of course, they're blind. There's a staff of Red Cross people of about 300 and about another 200 people of general population assisting as nurses and so forth. So this is a 5-day affair in which surgery happens from morning to night, and it's a very congenial team. But as you could imagine, with more than 1,000 people involved in this place, it's mayhem all the time, but not with Dr. Helena. She was in full charge all the time, and you knew that as soon as she walked into a room, problems kind of disappeared, and she was dealing with things with integrity and charm, but discipline. So I came away very impressed, not only with the work that C does and how it supports its doctors, but the magnificent people that we have in the field to do the work that C does. Thank you.
Not the doctor in action, now is a great time to pay attention. We've got a short little video to watch, and you'll get to be moved by actually seeing her do what she does.
Muyanu ajara mugomvuranji mwandi ndihoro kumonako kuka vuratunji tarika denga paife monkaro anje shondi mu weekenda dino tiba mokana hono kashona utaka watere onkato nanga manje go tapuranje tati meme ubangamora mwamora do tampotuan makumushikonga konanjo diranwa momanda hatamuiko dim shirera non handi move on dim sim kondan darun da shonda indi nome on handi move ko jo hat hapang hani ngasya ningi jengika do betenna wana wandu bitu mbore dare moku amona shonda moku amona ko are mbwana ware opotu atsikire no shironga shoka karunge ushitarenti shoka karunge shimpa. Tandin te kuranga shari hate kuranga karunga shwapa bisanyo no moshike. Maera rana wi huna rande nyanywe nene te hamberere karunga kanje. Agueldirenje kuishi pamendika na tango tayo pare pana tango nimone kunde juave.
I'd like to now introduce Randall Avolio, the CEO of SEE.
Thank you. In 2015, I had an amazing opportunity to go with Dr. Helena Ndume to the Democratic Republic of Congo. And during that time, we were there for the first ever eye expedition at a hospital that was built by NBA Hall of Famer Dikembe Mutombo. He's very famous for being 7'2". He met his match when he met Helena. And what happened was that there was, being the first ever expedition, there's always going to be some issues that you work through. And Dikembe, used to being in charge, in a helpful way started to kind of get into the middle of things. And Helena went up to him and said, if you want me to listen about basketball, I will stop and I will hear you. But when it comes to eye surgery, you will stop and you will listen to me. And from that point in time, I had great respect for Helena, and I have watched the amazing work that she has done over time. She has done remarkable things. SEE International is a group of over 650 ophthalmologists worldwide. And Helena is one of the finest examples of our humanitarian ophthalmologists. I think you're going to be really excited to listen to her today. I want to make sure that I took care of a few housekeeping items. And many of you may know that Dr. Brown, who founded SEE International over 40 years ago, recently passed away. And we just recognize his tremendous contribution and know that he is looking down knowing that SEE International will continue to do its wonderful work for many, many years to come. We're fortunate enough to have some of his children who are here with us tonight. In the 40 years since SEE has been in operation, it has been delivering a light of hope in over 200 expeditions per year, and this light radiates out from Santa Barbara throughout the world. Over 500,000 people worldwide now have their sight back today because of the work of SEE International, and that all goes back to our founding over 40 years ago. We also wanted to make sure that we took a minute, and I'm going to mention some people really fast, but didn't want to leave anybody out. We have a local program that you may know about called Santa Barbara Vision Care, where we take care of people right here at home through an extraordinary effort of our local ophthalmologists and other healthcare professionals. So we just wanted to give a shout out to those folks. We have several board members who are here tonight, and we wanted to thank them very much for all their fine work. Without the leadership of SEE's board, frankly, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. We also wanted to thank Jay Fardman. Jay has really been a volunteer and contributes to SEE in so many ways. He's doing the video. You'll see him running around back there a bit. And we know that through all the people that give to C ends up giving back in a way that otherwise would not happen. I can tell you from my experience in the Democratic Republic of Congo that these people, without the work of C and without the work of somebody like Dr. Helena Ndume, they would not be taken care of. They have no other hope. So originally, when we went to Dikembe, when he asked us and he said, I want to do our first ever eye expedition in the Democratic Republic of Congo, we said, we would love to do that. When would you like to go? He said, July 4th. And I said, any other time of the year, just about. We can get 650 ophthalmologists, we can get them to go out. But that's really hard. To get, on July 4th, to get somebody to leave their family, travel internationally, and so forth, we said, you know, we're just not going to be able to do it. When you're 7'2", you are not used to being told no. And he said, we will be going to the Democratic Republic of Congo on July 4th, and then that led us to about a 2 or 3 month search to try to find and build a team so that we could help him with what he needed. And Helena was one of the first people that was able to step up and do that. Through her extraordinary work there in a difficult expedition, first expedition, a lot goes wrong. And Helena and her leadership and her dedication is what got us through that time. At the end of on the first day or two of that expedition, we didn't know if we would do even one patient because of the problems. Because of her perseverance, we were able to do 107 surgeries, and those people have their sight restored today. And I can tell you personally, I witnessed her dedication on that expedition. And ever since then, I've had a remarkable and keen love of the work that Helena does. And I just think she's been an absolute fabulous asset to our organization, and I'm thrilled that she's come all this way. So with that, I would like to introduce to you Dr. Helena Ndume.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that applause. And to Randall, thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. Ladies and gentlemen of Santa Barbara, I would like first to thank you from the bottom of my heart to have come out here to listen, for the opportunity to come and listen about my about my story, and today about the story of my life, my career as an ophthalmologist, and the necessity of doing what we do as medical professionals to treat preventable blindness, not only in Namibia, but all over the world. On my part, with other health professionals within Namibia and see international support, we have so far restored sight to more than 30,000 men, women, and children. I'm also proud to tell you that here today, there's also one of the professionals from Namibia, Dr. Sven Opholzer. Sven, where are you so that people can please see you? Thank you so much. Sven just finished his ophthalmologist. He trained in Stellenbosch in South Africa. And someone was telling me that now, Helena, you look so good. I say, yes, I look good thanks to young people who are now going to take over. I to relax a little bit. We will not have changed the life of these many people if it was not for the general support of Sea International support, wonderful donors, supporters, volunteers, and those people who come and give the little bit for Sea to carry out this noble work that they are doing all over the world. I am extremely grateful. Last year, when I got an invitation from Sea to come and talk to the community of Santa Barbara, I was so excited, knowing that I was coming to meet my hero in the fight against preventable blindness. I was so shocked when Randall told me that Dr. Harry Brown has passed on. I first met Dr. Harry Brown in Atlanta at the American Academy of Ophthalmology, where Sea has its booth. And when I passed by, he said that we can come to Namibia to come and help you in the fight against preventable blindness. And then I said, no, I'm still a student. I didn't finish. I'm going to finish next year. Then he said, it doesn't matter. When you finish, you can, here is our address. You can send us a fax or call us, and then we come and help you. So Dr. Harry Brown was a man full of life. He has this biggest edge to fight preventable blindness, especially in our part of the world. It is therefore with a heavy heart that I'm addressing you today, knowing Dr. Brown, he would like us to soldier on. Therefore, we can only honor his legacy. We can only honor him and his legacy by rededicating ourselves to work harder in the fight against preventable blindness and to bring Sea International to greater height. If there is any of Dr. Harry Brown's family here, his children or family, you should be proud of yourself that you had a great father, a great uncle, a great grandfather. He was a wonderful man to all of us. Growing up in my hometown of Tsumeb in northern Namibia, I could not have possibly imagined that I would accomplish all of this. I was born during the apartheid system in my country. Maybe I have to give you a little history of my country. Namibia was a colony of Germany, and after Germany lost the First World War, all the colonies in Africa were taken away, and Namibia was put under the care of South Africa as a protectorate by the League of Nations. That was before the formation of the United Nations. But then instead, South Africa decided to colonize that. And that's why apartheid came in, segregation came in, schools were segregated, black and white could not mix, education was also segregated, and of course the black people had the lowest education. And that's why most of the students went out to demonstrate against this low inferiority education. By then also organizations like the African National Congress, ANC, was formed in South Africa by Mandela, and then in Namibia you had SWAPO, Southwest Africa People's Organization, which was fighting for the independence of Namibia. So, and it was because of that that when you have demonstrations, definitely the South African apartheid regime will come and arrest all the kids, the young people, and put them in prison, and sometimes they will never come back home again. And that's why we decided to leave Namibia to join SWAPO in exile. I was just 15 years old when I left Namibia to go into exile. In exile, we were under the care of SWAPO. We went through Angola, and it was also during the civil war in Angola. And it was war all over. It was not a happy story. It will take, that is another, it is something that I have to tell on its own because it will never finish. But I'm happy to be here with you today. So in the SWAPO camps, we were because we were so many, hundreds and hundreds of these young people who were living in Namibia. We started, we built schools and we continue with our education, but only up to a certain level. And SWAPO decided to ask some of the African countries to put us under their wings, to take us to start education, to finish our secondary school in these countries. And that's why I ended up going to the Gambia, going to finish my secondary school. Some went to Sierra Leone, some went to Nigeria, and some went to Ghana. In the Gambia, it was a different place altogether, different culture, different language, and I just wanted to go back. But I was so lucky. I'm thankful for my education that I received in the Gambia because it shaped the rest of my education. That was the proper basic education that I got there. However, most important of all, I'm grateful to the woman who took me into her house and family and who treated me like her own daughter. And I'm great, and I have lost touch with this family. When I left the Gambia, it was 1980. And I lost touch with this family for 37 years. But today, in this audience, Miss Safi Betts and her two daughters are here. Can you please stand up wherever you are? This is the woman who guided me, the woman whose shoulders I could cry on, and the woman I call a mother when I was in the Gambia. Mama Safi has contributed to what I am today. She raised me as her own. I want to thank C so much for reuniting me with my family again. When we met yesterday, it was very, very emotional, very, very emotional. I thank you so much. My first choice was to become a fashion designer. And my second choice was medicine. So when we finish our secondary school in the Gambia, you can't go back home to Namibia because you'll be killed. So home was always in the SWAPO refugee camps. From the Gambia, when I finished secondary school, I came back to the refugee camp in Angola. And then when you come back now, there is a list. SWAPO has some other country who sends scholarship for Namibian students to go and finish their university in those countries. And so scholarship for Germany came. I was there for a year. When I was there for a year, I was working as an administrator in the transport department. And then scholarship from Germany came. And then I was about East Germany by then. And then I was asked, now, Helena, and what do you want to study? I said, no, I want to go and do fashion designing. And what else? I said, oh, medicine is my second choice, but I really want to go for fashion designing. And then the Secretary of Education by then, Naha Sangula, said, no, this fashion stuff is rubbish. Independent Namibia would like to have doctors, but not fashion designers. But as young people, you were also brought up not to answer the grown-up. So I went on to study medicine. But even though when I was doing medicine, I still love my fashion thing. I'd find me with fashion magazine and all that. And after that, I finished my studies. As I was now studying, in the process, I got married. And just when I was 8 months pregnant, I got the news, but my lovely husband died at the battlefield. And I got my son. Nishi, where are you? He's here. Nishi is here with me. And as I told you about the fashion story, and then there was a town called Altenburg, 40 kilometers away from Leipzig. And so there were some Namibian students there doing agriculture. And one of them told me that, Helena, there is a boutique that opened up in Altenburg. And the lady always opens once in a month. She makes the clothes and then it opens once a month. So I decided, no, I'm coming to check it out. Even though also you were squeezed with money, you don't have money as a student, also you have a baby there to take care of. And I said, I'm coming to check it out. So and it was winter. I went there with my pram, with a baby, and of course, because the place was so small, she could only allow a number of people to get inside first. So we were now queuing outside, and I think they felt pity for me with the pram of the baby queuing up outside in the window. So they came to call me inside. And when they called me inside, they looked inside the pram and they said, oh my God, can we take him out? I said, no, because he was there in the pram playing and screaming. He wasn't crying, but he was just playing. And then the mother of the fashion designer said, can we take him out? I said, no, you can. Oh, are they already born with hair like this? Yes, I said they are born with hair. Yes, they are born with hair. And they, because it was a little town in Germany, they hardly had black people there. And they even said, we thought they get in the sun first and then they get the dark. I said, no, they're born like that. And then they fell in love with the baby, and they said, we want to invite you. Can we invite you one weekend so that you can come and stay with us and have lunch? I said, no problem. And they really did call me, and I went there for lunch, and from then on, we have become a family. And they have really been my pillar, taking care of the baby during exams and when I have practicals or going out to hospitals doing duties, they always come and take care of the baby. So that was my life there with the little kid. I then graduated in 1990. Lucky enough, when I graduated, it was also the time that we could go back home, thanks to the United Nations negotiation. And even when I went back, grandmother said, you are going to go alone. We don't believe that war is really finished. You are going to leave the child behind. You go and see it out yourself. Then the baby can follow later. And that is exactly what I did. Went back home, worked for 1 year, did my internship, and then went back again to Germany to finish. I went back to Germany to do my to specialize now in ophthalmology. When I finished my specialization in ophthalmology, I was somehow scared also just to go back home like that. And then I said, maybe I have to go to another third world country to find out what they do. And my professor advised me it's better if you go to the Gambia. I mean, if you go to India. I then went to India. I was there for 6 months, and that is where I also saw how they did their eye camp. And the happiness of the people who regained their sight again, I could never just forget that. And I said, when I go home one day, I think I have to do the same. And it was also lucky for me having met Harry Brown's surgical eye expedition in Atlanta. I just wrote back to them, and immediately they came. My first eye camp in Namibia was in the northern part of the country, on the banks of the Kavango River, which make the borders between Angola and Namibia. When we went there, we screened more than 500 patients, and we booked 200 patients to come for the operation. But come operation time, only 82 patients turned up. Why? Because blindness was taken as a normal aging process, and they were scared of the operation. I mean, they will say, where have you ever had someone operating on the eye? That was unheard of. If you go there, this little girl is just going to damage your eyes. And that's why many of them never came. So now that 82 patients that we operated who came really, they couldn't see anything at all. And some of them have been blind for like 6, 7, 8 years. We did the operation, they could see again, and they are the one who stoked the flame and which made the program such a success as today. And I remember it was really difficult at that time. And that first eye camp, of course, as I told you, I started with surgical eye expedition. And I remember the first doctor who was sent by C International was Dr. Michael Covert from 1997. And Dr. Michael Covert has been coming to Namibia from 1997 every year until today. I don't know if Dr. Michael Covert is here. I would like him really to stand. You have been my pillar. You have been my support. I don't know if Dr. Mike Covert is here. I would like it. Oh, my. Yeah. There are also Dr. Wollston and the wife who have also come after him, and they have been coming until today. I just don't know how to thank you on behalf of the many hundreds of Namibians, thousands of Namibians, that you have restored their vision. What is humbling and rewarding in all this, and what also make some of these doctors come, is what the patient tell you after they've regained their sight. They will say, doctor, I'll be able to see my baby for the first time, delivered 6 months ago. Doctor, I'll be able to see my grandchildren for the first time. Doctor, I'll be able to work in the field and toil for myself. And most importantly, I am now going to get to see my pension money. Because, because every old person in Namibia, they get a little of pension money. And those who are blind, sometimes the grandchildren or whatever will always take some money away from them. It's very sad. But also you have the doctors, some of the children or grandchildren who will be phoning me, Dr. Ndume, when are you coming back again to our region to do eye operation? Or when are you coming to visit us? Or maybe only next year. Doctor, we have a problem now in the house. Maybe because now our grandmother, she's going to every drinking hole now, drinking so much, and sometimes we get drunk. We want you to talk to her so that because when the grandchildren or the kids tell mama or grandfather or grandmother don't drink, no, but Dr. Ndume didn't say that we shouldn't drink. Yeah, it is joy all over. It's also like when you go to these eye camps, the first day before you start doing the operation, it's like you are at a funeral. It is so sad. Some want to go to and relieve themselves to the toilet. Then they step on one and another person. Oh, you are stepping on me and all that. But the moment they get operated, the sisters also get a little bit annoyed because they'll be looking for them. They'll be disappearing. When it is time to put the eye drops in, they are somewhere else. It's just, but you feel good that at least they are independent. Blindness is mostly linked to extreme poverty. When a father or mother goes blind, he or she can no more provide for the family. When children go blind, they can no more go to school and receive an education. And when a grandparent get blind, all people go blind, it's a burden on the family to take care of them who are sometimes not even available. So being able in our part of the world often makes a difference between surviving and starving. I'm indeed fortunate to be able to contribute in a small way in making people's life a little better. Avoidable blindness is a tragic epidemic with a greater repercussion than we may realize. Did you know, for example, that 1 million people go blind each year? Or that maybe every minute one child goes blind somewhere in the world? Or that literally hundreds of billions of dollars are lost due to blindness? According to the World Health Organization, up to 80% of all cases of blindness could be easily prevented or treated if the individuals only had access to vision care. I therefore take this opportunity to thank all men and women who are at the forefront, who are at the front line in the fight against preventable blindness. Non-profit organizations like See International continue to spearhead eye campaign in terms of organizing the medical expedition and provide the supplies so that volunteer doctors like myself continue our mission of ending preventable blindness worldwide, more so in the developing world where it is prevalent. For all these reasons, I would like to encourage you all to get involved in a humanitarian organization. It does not have to be an ophthalmology organization or even a medical one. Just take a chance and volunteer your time and your skills to an organization that serves humanity. We must create a culture of giving back. I have created a culture of giving back because my whole life was just given back. The Germans who educated me, it was taxpayers' money which helped me to get this education. And SWAPO sending me there to go and do medicine when I was told that fashion is rubbish, go and do medicine. I could see that they were right. Thank you for their advice because I am changing people's lives. And I have the Safi beds there. They also help me. They were also volunteering to help me. So that's why I also have to volunteer somewhere. We must create a culture of giving back to those less unfortunate, a culture of human volunteering, a culture of generosity. I promise you, you will see for yourself how it changed your life and brighten your spirit just by giving something. There is no amount of money that can compare with the joy of transforming the life of someone who was blind. And when you take off that iPad and then they scream and say, "Doctor, I can see again," no money in this world can pay that. I thank you so much. And let us continue helping the others who are more fortunate than us. And I also have to say, like Dr. Wollstone, Dr. Colbert, Whenever they came, they brought their children along. And they say, we have to bring our children so that they can see that there are others who are more unfortunate than themselves. Because they are in the culture of just give me, and wanting. But there are other people who are very unfortunate. And when they came back from Africa after their first visit, they come back collecting money from other school students to buy also things for blind schools in Namibia. Thank you so much for taking the time to come here. I thank you very, very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor. We'll have you right out in a second.
Thank you.
Doctor, come back up. On YouTube, you can see it's got 500,000 views, but I'm told that it's won every single award that it has been applied for. So let's watch this film. It's called A Chance to See Again.
Good afternoon, listeners. Welcome to our popular program, and now we have a special guest from Oshakati State Hospital.
Thank you, Mendeshi. My name is Ndeshi Shikulo. I am here to tell our people we are going to have an eye camp at Oshakati State Hospital. We are here to invite all the elder people or everybody who is at home that is not seeing to come and see us at the eye clinic. So we are telling all of our listeners that we have got 1 month for you to come to the hospital for your screening, to be operated during our eye camp. If you are seeing a person around you who is not seeing, please bring them to the hospital. Bring your uncle, bring your grandmother, bring everybody to come. This is your chance to see again.
My name is Dr. Helena Ndume. I do have a middle name which is traditional name, which is Ndaipovanu. It means I am better off. I was born during the apartheid system, where the education was different for the black people and white people, where young people were demonstrating and scared to be arrested, to be put in prison. They decide to leave the country. We left the country with 3 of my friends, and we managed to sneak over the border into Angola. In Angola, there was civil war, bombings and killings, camps being attacked in the middle of the night while we are sleeping. You are hearing bullets flying all over your head, corpses all over the place. And mind you, I was 15 years old. We crossed into Zambia. I ended up in the refugee camps where we built hospitals, we built our own schools, we built our barracks where we were going to stay, and we started going to school there. We have mathematics, history, geography, English, and all that. It was completely eye-opening. I ended up going to university in Leipzig, Germany, to start medicine. When independence came to Namibia, I came back home. I started my internship. I was the only ophthalmologist working for the state. You have to know that back then, it is a belief that when you are old, you go blind, and that is God's willing. Nothing can be done about it. When I started the eye camp, just 82 patients came, because they say, if you go there, that young girl is going to destroy your eyes. But then the 82 that we operated on spread the message like wildfire. The following year, we couldn't control the crowds. They came in their thousands. Everybody now wanted to be operated on. They said that independence have really come. We have doctors, and now we can see. You cannot just be in the private practice, making money, knowing very well there are thousands who are blind, and they need help. And you cannot call yourself a developed country if you have people getting blind from cataract today. No money in this world can pay for the happiness of someone who was blind. And suddenly you take off that iPad, then they say, "Doctor, I can see." If I have to tell you the story that they tell you after they regain their sight, you spend the whole night here. Doctor, now that I can see, I'm going to work hard and plow a lot of food. Doctor, now that I can see, I'm going to see my grandchildren that I haven't seen for 5-6 years. Or a mother who has given birth and she never saw her baby, came to see the child after cataract surgery. All of us went through difficult times during the liberation struggle in the refugee camps, and that is also what connected us together, that we must go back and help just like we were helped. We have to have a culture of giving back to less fortunate people so that they can also be transformed just like I was transformed.
Well, now we have a chance to talk to the doctor.
Yeah.
And I have a few questions, and then we have a few questions that the audience gave us. Mm-hmm. And then we have 2 microphones up here. So if you think of a question that comes up, we'll have a few minutes at the end for you to come up. I can't believe that your grandmother's here. Mm-hmm. Your mother's here, Sophie. Mm-hmm. Sophie, what a great joy for you it must be to see her up here. Yeah. This is, I was quite moved. That would have been a huge surprise. Did you know she was coming?
Yeah, I knew that she was coming.
You helped. So you said that you wanted to be in fashion. I like that. Mm-hmm. But then you wanted to go into medicine. But I didn't hear how you decided you wanted to study the eyes. Tell me how that happened.
Yeah, that is another thing again. When I don't know, with my life. And when I finished my internship, and then suddenly, I used to like ophthalmology, but I don't know. Maybe I should go into occupational health. Right. And then a lady called Dr. Libertina Amadila, she was the one who took us in refugee camps and as her daughters, because by then we didn't have parents. And she, after independence, she became the minister of housing and local government. But we all thought they were going to make her a minister of health, but instead they made her the minister of housing and local government. And then she said, with these little hands, you can do ophthalmology. And yes, and then yeah.
Little hands make it easier to do it?
Maybe, no, but I've seen people with big hands also doing.
I didn't know that was a superpower that you had to have.
That's why she told me. So I went and I did ophthalmology, but even when I went to Germany, after like 3 months or so, I phoned, I said, this is just not for me. She said, you are going to stay in there. Oh. You are not coming back. Yeah, you are not coming back, you are going to stay in there. And then I stayed in there, and here I am today.
Tell me a story about going to India for those 3 months. What surprised you when you went?
Yeah, I mean, it was another culture altogether.
Completely different, right?
Completely different. Even I felt like going back to Lufthansa and go back to Germany again.
But Germany was so different.
Yeah, very, very different. And that was also why my professor said that the best place for you will be India because of the volumes of people. And then you are coming also from Germany, it's too much high tech. And I needed a bridge, you know, between high tech and low tech. And it was very good. I also went to see so many diseases that I haven't seen all the years I have been in Germany. It was very eye-opening. And the eye camps, of course, that was something. The volumes of eye camps that they organized there, it was really an eye-opening.
The numbers are staggering. 1 million a year, right? I saw 37 million are blind, 247 million have some kind of reduced sight. And you had 82 in the first camp, but the next year there's thousands. And in watching the video, I was taken with how quickly you diagnose them. You have the thing, and the next one, and you look.
Yes.
What are you looking for exactly?
That was, sometimes you examine, let me tell you, when I was in Germany, all the patients will come on when we look at them on the slit lamp, which is to magnify the eye and see it very well. Yeah. But now when I went to India, when we are doing the rounds, maybe because the numbers are so many in the hundreds, they just have the torch and they look, and then sometimes they say, you know, this one has pseudo exfoliation, this one. I said, but guys, how do you see that?
Right.
And then after the rounds, I will come and take all these patients, line up and put them on the slit lamp, and this is exactly what they have seen, what they are having, and experience. And then I also started with the torch, and you could see most of these things. So during the eye camps, I do that mostly only when I'm doing eye camp. During the eye camp, when you are examined, it's pre-operation and post-op. How does the eye look like? Where you are doubting, you still take the patient to the slit lamp to examine the eye, the patient properly. Even pro or post-op, you take the, if you have some doubts, you take the patient to the slit lamp to see the eye, to examine the eye very well.
And then I noticed there's an assistant there who's taking notes of everything. So you have to go really, really quickly through them.
Yeah, there are 3 or 4 assistants writing what I say, what type of eye drops we have to put in the eye drops, so with the pressure, you think the pressure is high, you give them tablets, do this and this and that. Those are the orders that they are writing.
So you said in Germany it was high tech, and then in India it's very low tech, and I'm imagining when you went back home, how much technology do you need? What's the minimal amount to be able to do the surgery?
I need a microscope and surgical instruments. That is the minimum.
That's the minimum.
Yeah.
Did you start with, that's what you started with?
At our central hospital, it was well equipped. But when we got to the eye camp, we couldn't move some of the machines. And that's why when we started off, we couldn't even measure the lens. We were just estimating and put the lens. And there is where the time also Dr. Koval said that, no, we can't go on like this. We have to bring in machine to measure the lenses and everything. And he brought in some of the machines so that the patient could get the proper lenses, so that they can see properly after the surgery. And that is what now we are well equipped during our eye camps.
Well,
from
so
where
that
we
was
come
20 years
from,
ago.
yeah, where we come
Right?
from to today, we are very, very well equipped, thanks to surgical eye expedition.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. And Dr. Kovart's sitting right over here, right?
Yes.
And so there was one shot where there was, in the operating room, there were two. So would you do two at a time, or there are two of you working at a time?
Yeah, there is two of us working at a time, but there are times where we don't have enough doctors. Then you have two tables, like in the Congo. I was doing that. If I finish this from this table, then I move on to the other table.
And then they bring someone else in?
Exactly. Just
Okay,
like that.
okay. So it's, how many hours do you do that? It's such focused, intense work. How long can you go where you just, you have to take a break?
Yeah, we start in the morning operating sometimes at 8 o'clock until lunchtime, which is between 1 and 2, and then you rest for 1 hour, and then you continue again till in the night.
So I read that you would do 500 operations in a week?
Yeah, depending on the number of ophthalmologists, how many doctors we have, then we can come to that number.
Again, the numbers are staggering to me because this is just in one spot.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing this problem is all over it's not just there in Namibia.
No, it's all over Africa.
Right?
Yeah, it's the manpower. We don't have enough eye doctors and not well-equipped facility to take care of all these people.
So in doing the math on this, I learned that the lens is only $5. Right? So and you do one at a time, right? You only do one.
We do one at a time.
The next year you come back and you do the next one. So it doesn't sound like it's the cost, it's not an expensive operation. We need more doctors.
We need more doctors. The cost can only, in our part of the world, the cost can also be very expensive. You must know that our government are also faced by the epidemic of HIV and AIDS. You have tuberculosis, mother and child, maternal health care, and all these type of things. They are all, and for example, for us, nobody dies from cataract. So
it doesn't have
the
the kind of
resources
attention.
are going more to, the attention will go more to things like HIV and AIDS. So, and that's why we are so thankful that we have organizations like C International helping us, assisting us in the fight against preventable blindness.
I heard that there's over 650 ophthalmologists that spend some time a year out in the field. Do you go to back to the colleges and universities and talk to these young doctors to maybe encourage them to take the path that you're on?
No, I don't. We
should get you there.
I think so.
Your story's great, and I would think that would, I think when we go into medicine, it's because you want to help people.
Yes.
And here's this very obvious opportunity for them to help. So maybe at least we'll get the video there for them to see.
That would be wonderful.
Right? That would help. We'll talk about that.
That would be wonderful.
Because as these young people are making career decisions,
Yes.
as you did, they're thinking, should I go to fashion school? Or do I do medicine? I mean, that conversation's happening all the time, right?
Yeah,
right? And this is, and they could go on and win the Mandela Prize, and you were the first, but maybe you inspire a young girl to be maybe the 20th or the 30th. So you've done now 35,000 operations. I mean, that's just staggering when you're in the middle of that, you're not thinking of it. You're just see that long line of people, right?
Yeah.
What is it how do you keep going?
All these eye surgeries that we are doing, it's not only Helena alone. It involves many people.
Right.
It involves the government, C International, the nurses, the cooks, and the
Some water?
I'm sorry.
So here's some water.
Yeah. So having a dedicated team behind you, That's the only thing that can take you so far. And having a stable government, no doctors from America would like to come to a place where there is war.
Right.
So, I'm sorry. So they will come to a place where there is stability so that they can carry out this type of work. And I'm thankful for my government to have created this conducive environment for other people to come. I'm grateful to the team that have been working with all this year so that we can fight preventable blindness. And for people like Dr. Sven Opholzer, who have come back from college.
And he's with you.
Oh yeah, he is with me. He's really the right hand now. I pull him back a bit.
Oh, you're only doing 400 surgeries a week?
Yeah, and now he's doing most of them. He's doing most of them now. And that's what kept me going, actually.
After all of these years, and you've seen every single situation, and you've heard every, I mean, there's some really sad stories. I mean, I'm a grandfather, and I'm trying to imagine not being able to see my grandchildren. It would break my heart. What still surprises you about this effort?
What surprises me really is that we started this program in 1997, and people are still coming.
Yeah.
You still have some people who are deep, deep in the rural areas. Sometimes they haven't even heard about this program yet. But then you say, I thought I have done so much. I thought if the message has been spread all over, but the people are still coming. They are still coming, and some of the, and now as the years passes by now, with the radio going all over the place, most of them really come out to come. So there are still surprises that you still find people coming from so far away who have been blind for so many years. It's just now they are coming, then you wonder, oh my God. And maybe it's also because people are getting old.
Right.
That is another problem.
And so when you do a cataract camp, they have to come to you. Do you set up mobile camps ever? Or you're more where they are?
We go where they are. We have ophthalmic medical assistants. These are, let me say, like nurses who are trained in eye health.
Okay.
And they go around screening the patients, and they bring them to the main hospital to be operated. And when these patients are brought to us, we also go through and screen them, and finally now bring them for operation.
So there's probably some other things wrong as well, right?
Exactly.
When you get
it
to
might
see
not
them.
be cataract again. It might not only be cataract. There might be other problems like glaucoma. And then you operate the patient, and then the patient cannot see. Then they are so sad. Imagine what you have seen in the videos. Others are dancing. They are happy. They are rejoicing.
Oh my gosh.
And this one is just sitting there alone, asking, now, what is happening here? Why am I not seeing? And sometimes you can tell them that, you see, I can't operate on this eye. There are other problems, and they will never understand why. They will still force you to do an operation, hoping that miracles will happen just like the miracles have happened to others.
Because they've heard the story from the family.
Exactly, yeah.
And they
and
don't
the
realize.
neighbors and everything, yeah.
And they don't realize that they have a different problem.
Exactly.
At what age do people start to get cataracts?
Any age. You have
But
children who are born.
I didn't see any young kids, though, in the videos.
Oh, yeah, we do have many kids. And many kids that we had, I've never seen so many kids having cataract like in the Congo. Or is it maybe they don't have many kids there? I don't know. And one thing also, why you also don't see kids here, when our ophthalmic medical assistants go out to screen this patient, when they see kids, we don't do them during eye camp. They are brought now to Windhoek because we need an anesthesiologist there. And
'Cause
during
they
the eye
won't sit
camp,
still.
exactly. Then during eye camp, we don't have an anesthetist, so they come to the central hospital, and that's where we do the operations.
So back up just a second.
Yeah.
You do this surgery with just a local anesthesia?
No,
For
yeah,
an adult?
For an adult, yes.
So, and I mean, I don't know about you folks, but I don't want anybody touching my eyes. And so how do you get them to, I mean, relax, open your eyes, and now how do you do that?
No, you just talk to them nicely, and they will agree.
Just be nice.
Yeah, just be nice. Everything will be fine. You are going to see just like your neighbor Maria is seeing. And of course, they saw how Maria was blind, suddenly came for the operation and they can see. So you won't complain. You just quite knowing very well that Maria must have gone through the same thing. That's why she can see. So you just lie down and keep quiet and get the operation done.
I love that, right? So you had to build up a lot of trust. And you said in the video, don't let that young girl mess with your eyes.
Exactly.
But that went away pretty quickly,
away.
right?
Yeah.
And everybody learned.
That is the thing.
What is the, in every great story there's a challenge, and there seems like there's hundreds of challenges into making this work. What's the biggest challenge right now?
The biggest challenge right now is the manpower.
Back to people.
Yeah, it's the manpower, human resource. That is our biggest challenge. And of course also the equipment, that is another challenge. But mainly human power, human resource, that is our biggest challenge.
Back to getting the doctors.
We need more ophthalmologists.
So we're going to go talk to the eye schools,
yes.
right? We're going to have them watch your video.
Yeah.
Or maybe the 14-year-old girls, instead of posting on Instagram fashion, we'll get them to think about glasses. So if we were to look, I kind of like to look in the future and imagine a reality where we've fixed this problem. What is it going to take? We have manpower and we have equipment. Can we solve this problem in 10 years or 20 years, do you think?
Oh, we can. India is almost solving, almost solving its problem. Because they have now a lot of manpower there. They are almost solving their problem.
And how did they do that? Did they make it a priority to get the teachers?
All India Eye Conference, I think, is like the American Academy of Ophthalmology there in India, the Ophthalmological Society. They have decided that every doctor at least must go out and volunteer. Yeah. So, and they are almost really, they're almost really eradicating preventable blindness in their country.
So it is possible.
It's possible.
And when I think of a student in a teaching hospital, and it feels like they stay in that teaching hospital the whole time, where with you went from Germany to India, and you got a completely different experience than had you stayed in a teaching hospital in Germany. You think that fundamentally affected what you wanted to do with the rest of your life?
No.
No?
I think have left, I mean, you need people to teach.
Right.
I mean, otherwise who is going to teach the young doctors? And you need some who are supposed to be at the battlefield fighting preventable blindness, and that is now where some of us are.
Right. The warriors.
Yeah, what?
Right? Do you want to teach? Do you want to teach more? You like being a warrior?
I want to be a warrior.
Oh, good. We need warriors.
Sven enjoys teaching.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, good. So the two of you make a good team together.
Very much so.
So we had a couple of questions from the audience, and then we'll see how much time we have here. We're good on time. So if you, we'll open this up in a second. What is the cost per patient? So when we start, how much does it cost for one of these people to come in and have the surgery?
They don't pay anything.
It's free.
It's free of charge.
And someone pays, so this is what C does, or does someone else underwrite the
The
cost?
government bring them to the hospital. The government provide accommodation in the hospital, feeds them, and taking them back again.
So it might take a few days to get to you.
Oh yeah, it must take maybe 2 days, or depending on where they are, because we go to the region.
Right.
So they are brought, maybe traveling will be maybe 3-4 hours
Right.
up to the hospital, not really long.
And then what is the cost, the hard cost? I heard the lenses were $5. Or what do you think the cost is per surgery?
Maybe $25.
$25. Wow.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. When we think of the high cost of healthcare,
Yeah.
you've got this down to where we can do it quite effectively from a cost point of view.
Exactly.
What's the average age of your patient?
Oh, 70.
70. So it tends to be elderly.
Yeah, elderly, mostly elderly.
Why that? Why then? I mean, we asked earlier if there were children. You said yeah, absolutely. Is it a degenerative disease as well?
No, all of us, we one day get cataract if we get older. But with our people, as I told you, they wait until they can't see anymore, and that's when they come. Also, human resources is another problem again. There aren't enough doctors, and when we go there, we go only once a year to each region.
Right.
And that is where the problem is.
And if I'm not mistaken, like if you caught it early, that's one thing, but it's 7 or 8 years and then they're completely blind. Is that correct?
Exactly.
It's about that. And
it's
so
about that.
trying to get them. Is there a point at which you can't help?
There comes a point where we can help, especially if it is pure cataract, we can help, no problem. But if there are other diseases involved, then sometimes we can, like glaucoma, which I told you now, which is very prevalent in our part of the world, then we can't do anything. And there's also a lot of trauma to the eyes and all that. They get cornea scars and all that, and sometimes you can't help them anymore.
What do you do when that happens? So when you look at them and is there a way to refer them? Are there other people that are working on these other eye problems?
You can't even refer them, because when they come, they are totally blind. There's nothing, you can't even refer them. It's just to tell them the sad news that there's nothing that we can do.
That is sad. How long does it, I mean, to get 500 done in a week with a team of people, how long does each procedure take?
15 to 20 minutes.
That's it. And how much, and I'm going to guess, having had a few procedures myself, that of the 15 to 20 minutes, 10 of it is just getting everything sterile and clean, and then
it's
you're
very
in. It's
fast, very
boom.
fast. It's done so fast. You have people who are giving local anesthesia, who are bringing in the patient, putting the patient to sleep. Everything is draped, do the operation, taken away. Another nurse is already waiting for you with a trolley to start the next patient.
Now they'll spend the night?
Oh, they spend the night.
And then in the morning,
we take off the iPad, look at the eye. If everything is fine, then we say, you go home.
And can they see immediately?
Oh, yeah, they can see immediately.
Boom.
Yes, they can see immediately.
I'm sure that before they see you, so there's some period of time when they wake up and they have the patch, and they're going to open their eye anyway, and they're going to get some light in there, so that's which they haven't had, right?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
They are happy.
Here's how do you decide who gets treated if there's a long line? Is there a triage that you do?
No, we have to do all of them. We cannot
do them all. Okay.
We can't discriminate. We have to do all of them.
Well, there's the answer. How do you decide? If you're in line, well, because someone is already, as you said, there's the staff that are already finding these people and bringing them to you. So once they've done that, we do them all. Someone wants to know, how could these people help?
Yeah, you can help through See International. Yeah.
Okay.
You can help through See International.
When if they've got a 14-year-old who's thinking to getting into fashion, they could maybe a granddaughter or grandson or something. So we have time for a couple of questions. Don't be shy. I promised them that this audience wouldn't be shy, and we'd have a couple of people come up and get to, here we go, here's someone coming, get to talk to Dr. Helena. Just give us your name, please, and then you can ask your question.
Yeah, I'm Jeff Levinson, and I'm actually the Chief Medical Officer of C. And I want to just clarify one more thing. In the United States, it's not $25, and don't go back and ask for the $25 surgery.
Oh, okay.
But it's a remarkable story that's sort of a parallel story. In the United States, cataract surgery costs between $2,000 and $5,000.
Oh.
And an implant costs $150 to $1,000. And through the magic of the internet, third world doctors modified an old technique that's now obsolete in the United States, online, in discussion groups, on YouTube, and developed this remarkably elegant 10-minute manual sutureless surgery. So it's an amazing innovation of human creativity fostered by the internet that makes Dr. Ndume's work possible. And that's why we can do it for $25 now.
Exactly.
Thank you for clarifying that. Yes, please. Okay.
Hi, my name is Jamal Adams, and my wife is an ophthalmologist like yourself. And I wanted to ask a small question. When you speak, you say there's not enough manpower. And I would ask you to consider woman power instead of manpower, because I see a woman up here doing amazing things, and I think that's an outdated word.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that dynamic correction.
Yes.
First of all, I want to thank you so very much for being here. It's a pleasure to see you. My name is Owanja. I'm with the Martin Luther King Committee of Santa Barbara. I'm wondering, what about the young girls from your area? Has there been any effort to try to encourage the girls or young boys to also go into ophthalmology? And what is the government doing perhaps to promote opportunities for others to come behind you? Because, you know, the youth is our future. So I'm wondering, you know, how that can happen. Maybe you can explain if there is any effort by the government or by any organization to get the young people to perhaps go into medicine, go out and come back to the country to continue the work.
Yeah, the government has done a lot of efforts. Namibia has been having a university, but with no school of medicine. It is just now 6 years ago that it was introduced, and now we are training because of the needs for the country where we need doctors. And we have seen that there's a necessity to now to create a school of medicine, which has been operating for the past 7 years, I think, for the past 7 years now. And we even 35 or 32 graduated last year from the School of Medicine. And that's how, this is because the government realized that we needed more medical personnel in the country. And we are also working a lot, of course, there are many organizations that, and we are trying also to empower our young girls to come into the medical field. And even if you come today, you find out that there are more girls graduating than boys, and there are more women coming into medicine than men.
So we have one last question, and this gets back to the how you learn how to do this. She says, my friend, Dr. Lincoln Nelson, was a missionary in the Philippines, and a blind lady came to see Dr. Nelson. He'd never performed the eye surgery before. So he sent his son to the market to get sheep's eyes. And he practiced on the sheep's eyes, and after the operation, which was 100% successful, the lady was surprised. And I mean, that's the end of the question, but oh my gosh.
Yes.
Can you, is that how you learn? You learn on other animals?
Yes, you start first, to have a feeling to work. It's very difficult when you start surgery, trying to use a microscope and operating at the same time. The coordination is very, very difficult at the beginning. So that's why sometimes we start on pig eyes just to get the feeling very well instead of going straight to the human eye.
Right, well, exactly, right? Because it's just, and I think that eye-hand coordination is very challenging.
It's very challenging at the beginning.
Santa Barbara has, I don't know if you know this, but we have a large medical device industry here, and where they're doing robotic surgery. Is this a thing that robots could do sometime? Have you heard of that? I'm not aware of that.
I don't know.
You don't know?
With the eyes.
Well, they do some very delicate surgeries, but I'm curious if there's maybe another way Santa Barbara could help.
With robotics? No, not yet.
Not yet.
There are many other things that we need that are challenging, that we need help for, but not yet robotics.
Okay.
Yeah, that can come later.
Okay, we'll tell them to work on something else.
Yes.
Doctor, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you so much.
Let's have a seat. So I think Randall wants to come back out and have a couple of words before we'll let everybody go.
Well, thank you so much, Mark. Thank you so much, Helena. It was just a wonderful and inspiring afternoon. And I just wanted to make sure that we took an opportunity to thank all of our sponsors for this event today, who without their help, we wouldn't have been able to do this. And also to thank all of the supporters of SEA who have been around for 40 years and helped get the wonderful work that SEA gets done throughout the world. And I hope that you were all inspired today. I certainly was. I can never see, I've seen that movie with Helena, the 6-minute video, probably 50 times. I tear up every single time I see it. And I was inspired even more today. And I wanted to thank everyone. Mark came through for us. He's a wonderful TEDx speaker, TEDx Santa Barbara. Thank you so much for being here today. Yeah. And Helena, thanks so much for traveling so far and for everything that you do.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, everybody.